Welcome, students. The lesson today is called Writing Equations. And you're just going to write out equations based on the words you read. You should have your guided notes paper in front of you. I want you to fill in that table. I'm going to give you the words I want you to fill into that table right now. But I want you to remember that there may be more words than this, and anytime you see a word that you think represents addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division, add those to it. Your equal to column, I want you to add words to that you can think of, and we'll take some suggestions tomorrow in class, but those are going to be on your own to fill in. I'm going to move on now, and let's start actually doing this. Okay, at the bottom of your guided notes, here's the number 1 problem. Translate into an equation the product of 6 and a number is the same as 12. Now, obviously, product means multiplication, and we are doing the product of 6 and a number. We're going to use a variable to represent a number, so we're going to say like 6x is the same as, is a clue word for equal to, 12. And that's finished. Go to the next one. Translate into an equation. Twice a number increased by 1 equals 5. Okay, twice a number is the same as saying 2 times a number. So like 2x, a number again would be a variable. Increased by 1 is addition. 1 equals, obviously, is equals, and then 5. That one's finished. Now let's try this one now. Translate into an equation. 4 less than 6 times a number is equal to 7. Now here's something you need to pay close attention to. Less than, that's a tricky one. It's going to tell you to put the 4 second. It's going to give the 4 a negative value. So first we've got to look at what comes first. 6 times a number. So 6x, 6 times a number, and then we'll do less than 4 is equal to 7. And then that's finished. Anytime you see less than, put that number second. And our last example on your guided notes. 3 times the sum of a number and 5 is the same as 27. 3 times the sum of. So when you see the sum of a number and 5, something like this, that's together in parentheses. The sum of a number and 5. Sum would be addition, a number and 5, and then 3 times is when you put that 3 right in front, right beside the parentheses. Is, that would be equals to 27. We're finished there. I'm going to give you some more examples. 53 plus 4 times b, 4b, is as much as 21. Simple enough. The sum of 5 times h and twice g is equal to 23. So the sum of, here we go again, the sum of, that'll be in parentheses, 5h plus 2g twice g is equal to 23. So you can put this in parentheses, or you could have left it out because there's nothing that goes in front of it. But either way, the sum of tells you to put those two together, 5h and 2g. 1/4. So obviously I'm going to write 1/4. The sum of, here we go again, the sum of r and 10. So we'll do parentheses, r plus 10 is identical to, another word that would represent equals, r minus 4. R minus 4 is on the other side of the equal sign. And then last one for this, 3 plus the sum of the squares of w and x. Okay, so here's the sum of again, the squares of w and x. So we're going to square w, and we're going to put a plus sign, and we're going to square x, and we're going to put those in parentheses. 3 plus 3 plus goes in front, is 32. Goes behind. And we're done. The sum of the squares, wx and x squared, plus 3. This is telling you to add those squares first before you add 3. You're also going to have to write formulas, which is the same thing. It's just going to represent a formula that you could apply to geometry and so forth. This one has to do with temperature. The degrees Kelvin, and represented with the capital K, equals, so put equals, 273 plus degrees Celsius, and they give you the C, capital C. Next one, the total cost C of gas is the price P per gallon times the number of gallons G. So the total cost C is, there's our equals, the price P times the number of gallons G. So it's P times G. That's all it is. And then our last one for formula example, the sum S of the measures of the angles of a polygon, so that's what that S represented, that whole little section of that sentence, is equal to 180 times the difference of, so this whole part will be in parentheses, the number of sides in and 2. It's 180 times the difference of n and 2. So you put it outside and the n minus 2 in parentheses. It's telling you the order of operations. You have to do what's in the parentheses before you multiply with 180. You're also going to be asked to put an equation into words or into a sentence. So this could be done a number of ways. There's going to be a number of correct answers here. But for example, this one, I would say the number R minus the sum of four and P is equal to 1/3 times R, or times the number R. Either way, and again, there's many ways you could have written this, and it would be acceptable. As long as when you go back and read it, you would write what you see up in the equation. I'll do one more. 3/5 times T plus 2 is T. And that one could be that simple. All right, we're going to go on to my last example, because we're running out of time. You're going to be asked to write a problem based on given information. So in this information, we're given the letter A is equal to the cost of one adult's ticket to the zoo. A minus 4 is equal to the cost of one child's ticket to the zoo. And then our equation looks like we have 2 adult tickets and 4 children's tickets, and a total of 38. So as we break down what each piece means, that's what we have. So we're going to say the cost, this is an example again, the cost of 2 adult tickets mess up there a little bit. And 4 children tickets is 38 Now, of course, I probably need to say the cost of admission to the zoo for 2 adult tickets and 4 children's tickets is $38. You're going to have a couple of these on your assignment, so I want to make sure you just get an example of how to put words to an equation that you're looking at. That's the end.